Alright everybody, so now I have the entire boat pressure washed. I went and vacuumed it out beforehand, and then like I said before, make sure you raise that end up and start from the front to back, because the water will push out and all the dirt will push out from the back where your plug is. All pressure washed out. Everything's out. So now we just have to wait for this thing to dry and we'll be all set to go. Alright everybody, now that we have had our boat pressure washed, vacuumed out, all sorts of that good stuff, and that's all done, what I like to do while this is starting to air dry and pump out the rest of the remaining dirty water in here is go through my engine. I already took the top off this engine. I've been using it over the summer for bow fishing, so I've already done this stuff, but I will tell you what you need to do. What I like to do is I like to go through the carbs, make sure all the plugs aren't fouled out, make sure all your connections are right, your starter packs, everything's are good, your connections are good here, make sure your starter is all, your teeth are fine on it and everything's all greased up, ready to go. And then after you go through your top half of your engine, you want to make sure you go down to the bottom half and change your lower unit oil. So I already did this, like I said, I've been using it over the summer, but I like to change it out at the end of our duck season into the start of our winter, so I can winterize it, and then I like to change it out before my first adventure in the spring. So that way you'll know that if you have a bad seal, there will be water in your oil, stuff like that, and you don't want that. It'll seize up your engine and stuff. So yeah, I guess with that being said, go through all that, change out your oil, make sure all your connectors are good. If not, take it into the shop, they'll get it done for you. And then once you have that finished, make sure all your connections are good as far as your gas line goes. We'll connect it to our battery and put it in our gas tank, prime it up. We'll fire it up a little bit and see if she starts. Make sure your bulb is primed. Alright everybody, so now that we have the whole entire boat vacuumed, cleaned up, pressure washed, cleaned out, it's all dried, we put the mats in for the floors, we went through and put the gas tank in, charged the batteries up, made sure your starting battery was charged up. We went through the engine, changed out the lower unit oil, we went and made sure all your connections, spark plugs were fine. We hooked up the gas line, made sure the engine ran alright, idled fine properly. That's all set to go. We've charged up our other battery, we went through the lights right here and right here on the back, made sure everything was nice and tight, the connections were fine, everything lights up well. The only thing left to do is put on the blind. So the blind, I have an Avery blind for this boat. It is a little bit too big, wonky, and heavy for me for just one person. So I'm gonna wait for my buddy to get home and then we'll put it on. But one thing, you know, with that, I'll just sum it up real quick for you guys. Once you get it on, make sure your connections are tight, stuff like that, and then definitely look at your grass. I went the cheap route last year and bought cheap grass from Fleet Farm. It lasted me a half a season and it started ripping. If I were you, do as I say, not as I did, or do. Don't buy the cheap grass. Go and buy the $100, $150, $200 grass, because it'll last you a while. It's quality made, and you won't have to worry about it for years. Like I said, half a season in, it's already starting to rip, tear. It wasn't thick at all. I need to buy more grass now, and I'm out the money that I put in last year. So if I would have just went and spent the money, I wouldn't have to worry about it this year, and I wouldn't be out that money. But that's just how it goes. So with that being said, guys, we'll put on the blind, and that's about the last thing to do. We'll hook it up and wait for the hunting adventure. So you guys have heard it here with Badger Sportsman.